And there we go, which makes perfect sense that out of the final 8 surfers, or 9 surfers still in the event, that 5 are still in the hunt for the world title. Here he is, current world number 2, Taj Burrow. Number 2 in the world with a whole bunch of second-place finishes, but not a first yet this year, and he'd love to put a 1 in his scoreline after this Billabong Pro. Mundaka, of course, Taj has won twice in Brazil in the past, but has never won the Pipeline Masters in Hawaii. So, but if Taj could take a win here and take a win in Brazil, it's still all on for a final showdown in Hawaii with Kelly Slater. There's the surfers in this round 4, Heat 8. Damian Hobgood in red out of Florida, Dean Morrison in yellow out of Australia. What do you reckon? What do you think about this matchup? Do you know?
Well, this is a very interesting matchup. With the conditions changing rapidly, Dean Morrison is pretty savvy in these type of conditions, and Damian is pretty patient. So we'll have to wait and see, but plenty of opportunity still. The waves are still pretty good. As you can see, a lot of those waves in the last heat were still well overhead, and these are the best surfers in the world, and the conditions are 100% contestable. And nonetheless, we had to move from Mundaka, but we've been blessed with decent surf today, and the boys here, with the team, the technical team, getting all the bugs worked out, and they worked really hard. As you can see, Damian Hobgood live, big blast off the top for Damian Hobgood and coming unstuck. But nonetheless, they're definitely getting everything worked out, and we got great picture, and we're up and running here, Dave.
Absolutely, Dino. We're firing, and hopefully this will not be the last heat of the day. We'd love to bring you the quarterfinals here today. Here's the opening salvo from Dean Morrison, Dingo, one of the 3 coolie kids still in the event. Too nice off the lips there for Dino.
Well, there you go. There you go. There's a Dingo from the Gold Coast of Australia, the coolie kid. Just, man, how's that wave he picked off? I mean, talk about savviness in the lineup. That was a really good wave he picked off there.
He's still going.
As he rounds about the inside and slams that oncoming section, where you can see the crowd there as he hits the back to the lineup there. Dean Morrison just picking off a beauty of a wave there to start off his heat.
And going to town. Well, you know what I think it is, Dino, is Dean Morrison was very upset. Well, he was super stoked, but at the same time a little bit ticked off that the other 2 coolie kids, Mick Fanning and Joel Parkinson, were in the final of the last event. And actually on the podium, Dean did win the Avion Expression session. They had a special, Avion was the presenting sponsor of the Quicksilver Pro France, so they had an Avion Expression session that Dean Morrison won. And so he did make it onto the podium, but in this one he'd like to be up there for first or second place. And let's take a look at this first wave of the coolie kid, Dean Morrison.
The wave when he took off looked like a really average wave, but as you can see, kind of bounces into this double up. And watch this thing reform as he blasts to the top of that lip. Nice little airdrop out of that into this next bottom turn. Very compact surfer as he slams this oncoming little foam ball there and climbs up onto the open face. Here he gets onto the open face again, and nice big rail carve roundhouse back into the foam, and I think that's one of his signature moves, Dave. Dingo's roundhouse is definitely a money move in his repertoire.
Well, growing up in nice, smooth right-hand point breaks, you'd reckon that he'd have a good forehand roundhouse down to a T, and that he does right there.
Well, as he hits this last section here, nice big blast to finish that wave off. Actually, I think he actually even reformed it.
Continues on, yep.
As he gets low and trying to maximize his scoring potential.
Connect this last section. So that one good for a 6.83. And Dean Morrison definitely does not want to see Joel and Mick move into the quarterfinals without him. And a 6.83 to start things off here for Gold Coaster Dean Morrison. And a quick 1.0 for Damian Hobgood, but if Hobgood had completed that first kind of backside blast off the top end, the lip slide, and continued on. Might be another story right now. Still 25 minutes remaining, Dino. Plenty of time for both these surfers.
Well, I think that wave of Dean's, had a lot of potential, Dave. I actually think that he, had he have unloaded a little bit more on those turns, he might have been looking at an 8 or 8.5 on that wave. That wave had a lot of opportunity. That one bowl section at the beginning was pretty solid, and as
for sure. And let's go over to GT with our last heat winner, Taj Burrow.
All right, Taj. Well, first of all, that 8 sure did make the difference in that heat.
Yeah, I couldn't hear much out there. I knew that it was kind of a keeper, but halfway through the heat, I ended up hearing that it was an 8, so I was stoked. That was definitely a keeper because I felt pretty lost out there, and that was my best wave by a mile. It was hard to find a good one.
I've seen you free surfing around pretty much this whole week, and I think those 2 falls in that heat were the first ones I've seen in a month out of you. What was it? Was it condition? Was it nerves? Was it just what's going on out there?
Well, I was a little bit nervous, and I just, it was finding it hard in those conditions. I was so bumpy and rippy, and I just didn't know where I was sitting, and it was pretty bad.
It looked good.
Yeah, no, it was, there's the odd one out there, but I fell on a couple small ones just because I was kind of trying too hard because they were average waves, so I was trying to do silly stuff there.
Now, the big debate is quarterfinal. Actually came in and asked me, hey, are we doing the quarterfinals or not?
Yeah.
What's your take on it? Do you surf out when the tide might go off, or do you hold the quarters all on the same kind of day? What's your thought on that?
It's a tough one. I mean, I'd rather kind of almost wait, but who knows if the waves are going to get any better. I mean, it's really hard, and it would be good for everyone to get a fair shot in the quarterfinals. So it's easy to get lost out there, and it's easy to get scalped. So it's a little bit unfair, but I don't know. It depends on what the surf reports are and what's going to happen the next few days. But I'll surf today or tomorrow. I don't mind, but I'd like to see it surf a little bit better waves.
Well, the good news is you made it into the quarters.
Yeah.
We're looking again, no matter what, and with all the kind of tidal drama coming together. Have you even started thinking about it? I know you just take it heat by heat, but do you even think about it?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought about it in that heat, actually. It's coming out of crunch time, Every day it gets closer, so it's like, it's pretty exciting, and it's definitely on my mind, but still got to take it heat by heat, and, all the big guys are still there, so it's nothing drastic's happened yet, but, we'll see how it pans out.
Well, it's a lot of fun to watch, and I'll tell you what, for you folks in the United States, thanks, TV, for you folks in the United States right now sitting in your cubicles, we're on the beach here in the Basque Country, Spain. It's pretty awesome. Have fun. Check your emails. All right, back to the tower.
Well, geez, thanks, GT. And to everyone else out there around the world that's not sitting in cubicles in the United States, that's right, we are on the beach here in Bakio having plenty of fun currently in the water. Damian Hobgood in the red singlet, Dean Morrison in yellow, a 6.83 for first of yellow, a 6.83 for last of red, waiting to see what their backup score is going to look like. Right now they're both throwaways, but let's go to a quick replay with Dino Andino on that last wave of surfer in red, Damian Hobgood.
Well, as you can see, Damian Hobgood, nice big blast on that oncoming section as he pumps around here, and really vertical lip placement there for Damian Hobgood as he slams that lip vertically on the open face. As you can see right here, he kind of moves up forward on his board and starts bouncing into the oncoming section, and nice little lipper there, keeping his board speed. Really solid surfing from Damian Hobgood. Right here, he's just kind of cruising, waiting for the reform to build up, and finishes right off as he's just kind of relaxing, waiting for the wave to build up underneath him. And Damian Hobgood, really smooth surfing, precise, nice little open face snap on the face there. Had this wave have had a little bit more green water, it might have been a little different on the scoring. As you can see, all the white water on the face, kind of a bumpy face. Right here it builds up and he gets a money turn, big backside vertical turn there for Damian Hobgood. And a nice big low bottom turn, and one more swinging little snap on the open face, and coming unstuck there. And had he have made that last little turn, maybe get one more turn, he might have been looking at over a 7. What do you think about that, Dave?
Definitely would have been added on a good 3/4 of a point if he pulled that last move for him. But as it is, it's pretty much equal across the board. Dean Morrison in yellow in second, needing a 1.0 to go into first. 19 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. So, and a replay of yellow's last wave. Dean Morrison, this wave's a 4-3-3 to give you a little bit of a situation for you.
Well, that was
take it away.
That was a really nice hack. That one he kind of unloaded a little more than the previous wave he had. He really, committed to that rail snap on that top of that wave as he kind of double pump roundhouses off this little section. But nonetheless, that first turn was really tight in the pocket and really accelerated through his turn as he hits his oncoming section here and blasts that thing and kind of gets a little stuck there, kind of straight-legged that last turn a little bit. But nonetheless, nice surfing from the Cooley kid, Dean Morrison.
Well, you're right, Dino. That brilliant surfing from Dean Morrison and that little straight leg action could have been the difference between a 4-3-3 and a 5. Well, we promised everyone that we would bring you an update on conditions and the contest. And we're going to go to GT with Mike Parsons. No, we're going to stick with the action in the water. Sorry about that. As Damian Hobgood caught one out the back and looks like he's right back up and riding again. Dino.
Oh, nice big backside vertical surfing for Damian Hobgood. Big bang off that pocket there. Nice round swooping cutback as he's looking what looks like a reform. At this point, only needing a 4.33. We'll have to wait and see what the judges reward that. But 3 pretty critical turns on that open face there, Dave, for Damian Hobgood.
Some big moves out the back, Dino. And I do believe we have that replay of Last of Red coming up right now. We're going to take a look at that one once again in slow-mo for you, Dino. And after that, we're going to go to GT with a contest situation update. Let's check out that replay. Take it away, Dino and Dino.
Well, here you go. Nice big low bottom turn. Kind of a double pump bottom turn into the pocket. He goes vertical and snaps that thing. Almost catches the rail on the way down. But this turn's really interesting. He just plows over the top of the lip. Really committed surfing. I mean, the lip was already halfway down the face as he just ricocheted right over it. And onto this open face snap. Kind of getting a little tail release there. This is going to be really interesting. And the judges liked it. He got a 5.50. And there you go.
As he makes it to the end of that one.
Just like that, Damian Hobgood is currently in the lead in this heat after that last wave where that second turn was really the breaking point of that score. I mean, he was barely even coming down, recovering off that first turn, and he just threw it straight back into that second turn, and that was really committed.
And here we go over to GT to find out if Damian is going to get a shot at the quarters this afternoon or not.
Okay, so the debate has been raging on to surf the quarters or not to surf the quarters. Do you really want to be an event director? I don't think so, because the pressure of making that call, it's not an easy one. And Mike Parsons, Craig Sage, head judge Perry Hatchett, and also the surfer representatives, and of course the 2 surfers in the first quarterfinal, Mick Fanning and Joel Parkinson, have decided to surf the heat. Now what they're going to do is they're going to take it heat by heat from here on out, because as we've been talking all week long with 14-foot tide swings, this Bakio beach break could shut off, let's just say, with some immediacy. So it's heat by heat, and basically, well, one of our 2 world title contenders, being Mick Fanning and Joel Parkinson, will be out of the race after this next quarterfinal match from France about 2 weeks. An interesting stat, and we'll have to check to see if it's right. As I was coming up to do this report, was like, GT, Damian Hobgood wins this heat. Yeah. That means the top 8 surfers in the world are left in this event, which is a good stat. So we'll have to double check that. But I take it from. Have to stay tuned. All right. Back to
wide webcasters.
Thank you very much, GT. There is the Dino in the water, Dean Morrison out the back in yellow, looking for a 5.5 with 14 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. And our other Dino and Dino just to my right here in the booth. And Dino, what do you think about that decision to just take it as they go through the quarterfinals?
Well, I think it's going to, like GT had mentioned, it's going to be heat by heat. You know, there is just under 15 minutes remaining in this heat, and you know, Mike's got his work cut out for him on this one. It's going to be changing very rapidly. You know, and this next heat with Joel Parkinson and Mick Fanning, very pivotal heat in the world title race. And the last thing you want is to start a heat and have the ocean go flat and you know, not serve up an opportunity for both the surfers.
Well, I guess Joel and Mick, you know, if they're both okay to paddle out there and surf it, then, you know, why not? It's their future is in their hands at this point. And if those guys want to have at it, all good. It's true that most contest directors around the world and the ASP prefer to, if you start a round, to be able to finish it in the same day so that all guys have similar conditions. But this Billabong Pro here in Mundaka, we definitely are dealing, it's not your average everyday contest. You know, at Mundaka we can realistically only surf for about 6 hours a day with the best tide and swell conditions. We do have Bakio as a backup site, but it is a rather shifty beach break, as you've seen today, so not always offering up equal conditions for all the competitors. But at the point we're at, you know what, you just got to go with what you got in front of you. 13 minutes to go in this, the 8th heat of round 4, and in 13 minutes we will know who is our 8th and final quarterfinalist here at stop number 9 on the Foster's ASP Men's World Tour. And if Damian Hobgood does win this one, then it will be surfers 1 through 8 on the Foster's ASP Men's World Tour rankings that will be our quarterfinalists, just proving the point that we talked about earlier, that, you know, when it's game on at the end of the year, the cream does rise to the top with our world's number 1 through 8, making it through to the quarterfinals if Damian Hobgood beats Dean Morrison. But that is far from a done deal, Dino and Dino.
Well, absolutely. As you can see, that's a beautiful shot of the break. Still plenty of swell out there, so you know, I think it's a good call that we're moving through it. But nonetheless, there is 12 minutes still remaining in the final heat of round number 4, with currently leading the heat Damian Hobgood, putting the pressure on Dean Morrison, with Dean Morrison needing a 5.50, and one of these surfers still trying to get into the quarterfinals. And we're talking about all the drama. As you can see, Dean Morrison up and riding out the back here. Nice big snap off the top for Dean Morrison, the kid from Cooley. Currently trailing this heat, Dean Morrison. Another big bash off the top and a nice little floater rebound. Well, you got to think that first turn is going to have some kind of bearing on the score.
And his third turn most likely as well, as he continues on into the shore break here at Bakio, finishing this one up just meters away from the thousands of fans down at the water's edge. 11 minutes, 10 seconds remaining. This one far from over. But Dean Morrison, you know, must have heard us going, yeah, the top 8 already through into the quarterfinals, and just gone, boys, oh no, do not speak too soon. I only need a 5.5, and watch what I'm going to do on this one. Well, we're going to wait for our replay and wait for our judges' scores before we get too far out in front of ourselves. But what a wave for Herr Dingo, Dean Morrison, and answering right back, Damian Hobgood. Dino, take it away.
Nice big swoop off the top from the young Floridian as he opts to kick out, probably knowing that Dingo might have nailed that last score. We'll have to wait and see what the judges reward it, but yeah, it looks like he's going to have plenty enough of a score to take over the lead. As you watch the replay here of Dean Morrison, nice big bottom turn, big snap off the top. Really critical turn there from Dean Morrison. Really a nice green wall, kind of just catching the eyesight here of everybody as that thing reformed, doubled up, kind of the perfect mixture that wave was. As you can see him kind of relaxing into this next double-up section, kind of knowing, he's probably thinking right around now that he's got the score after that first turn. Big blast on the closeout there. Kind of just a average set of maneuvers to finish this wave off, but nonetheless the work was already done, Dave, on that first turn.
Oh, for sure. With that first turn, he knew he was already about two and a half points into the 5.5 he needed, and just continued on down the line. Blew up again on his third turn, and then just linked it all the way into the shore break. Didn't have to do too much after that, and all that work good for a 6.67 to go with his 6.83, putting Dean Morrison into first position in front of the Floridian current world number 8. Damian Hobgood now needs a 6.67, so all the work is now on Damian's shoulders, but he knows exactly what he has to do. The same thing, or just a little bit better than Dean Morrison on his last wave. And here he is answering right back out of Florida, Damian Hobgood.
Oh, how's that one for Doom? A big blast off the top into a reversal. Really exciting surfing from the youngster from Florida, Damian Hobgood. Man, he slammed that oncoming section and went straight into a reversal roundhouse.
Yeah, he's going to be able to connect to the inside here. It's a big ask, but it could be doable. And, at this point,
wow, that was really exciting surfing. And if he doesn't get the score on that, it'd be really unfortunate for him. I mean, had he have had another couple opportunities, it might have been a solidified score for him. But, wow, that was really innovative surfing from Damian Hobgood.
Well, I'm wondering if that big bash re-entry on his first maneuver was actually his first maneuver or not. It looks like we were watching the screen. I'm not quite sure if he got any moves in before that one. If he did, it could be enough, but apparently he didn't, so a 5.5 score from the judges.
I mean, look at that perfect technique on that, releasing his tail, almost breaking the fins out. And this was a really interesting maneuver as he blasts his tail all the way around in complete control into reversal there. Damian Hobgood putting on a display of really, really innovative surfing there, Dave, making the absolute most out of that situation.
Well, good enough for a 5.5, but can understand the judges on that one. Nice rebound re-entry. Definitely went for the innovative and progressive surfing criteria with that backside reverse. Then one last bounce off the foam, but foam bounce is only going to be good for half a point.
And I think it's fair to say that when the surfer's done his work on the outside and he's caught on the inside trying to bounce into the reform, and psychologically speaking, it seems to play a role in the score. When the guy's standing over the top of the double up and it's sliding underneath him, you tend to think, wow, had he have got that double up, it could have been a better score. Whereas, you think about him, if he would have kicked out of that wave after those two moves, it might have been more of a statement,
That is very true. He was trying to connect it through, as Dean Morrison did on the way before there. You could see our surfer in red, our first quarter finalist, Joel Parkinson, walking down to the water's edge. 6 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in this one. So Parko and Mick can both paddle out in 1 minute and 20 seconds for quarterfinal number 1 of the 9 event on the Foster's ASP Men's World Tour. Billabong Pro Mundaka. Once again, we have moved over to Bakio today. The swell was big enough, but not the correct direction to make it into that little hole between the island and the lineup at Mundaka. We needed more northwest in the swell. So we are here at Bakio, still highly contestable conditions, well overhead on the sets here. Nice right, left beach break peaks. And quarterfinal number 1 paddling out as we speak with 5 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in this one. Here's Damian Hobgood looking for a 6.67 and not going to get it on that one, Dino.
Yeah, unfortunately coming unstuck on that maneuver. And there's plenty of time remaining, 5 minutes and 25 seconds on the clock. And Damian Hobgood currently in the second position, needing a 6.67 as we finish the final heat of round number 4. And shortly we will have the first quarterfinal with Mick Fanning and Joel Parkinson coming up shortly here as Mike Parsons has decided to move on into the quarterfinals here of the 2006 Mundaka Billabong Pro.
That's right, Dino, letting it all roll here in Bakio. First, the great debate was, are we going to run all the quarters this afternoon or not? Finally, the answer was, who cares if they all run in the same conditions or not? Parko and Mick want to have their quarterfinal number 1. We'll take it heat by heat. Quarterfinal number 2, of course, will be with Tommy Whitaker and Kelly Slater, so we'll see what they think of the conditions in just over half an hour. But Parko and Fanning both in their singlets down at the water's edge, ready to paddle out as we come down realistically to the business end of this contest. And this quarterfinal number 1 will knock one of these two surfers, either Joel Parkinson or Mick Fanning, out of the race for the world title. So this is a career heat for both of these surfers. Former world number 2 in the form of Joel Parkinson and last year's world number 3, Mick Fanning. So this is going to be one to watch.
Well, we got the clash of the Cooley kids coming up here. Two very close friends and 2 neighbors as well. And you got to think this is a very serious heat coming up as we head into the quarterfinals in heat number 1. Last week we had Joel Parkinson taking out Mick Fanning in the finals of the Quicksilver Pro, and they're both the most informed surfers of the event so far from what I've seen, and they're going to hit the water here shortly with only 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the final heat of round number 4, and Mike Parsons opting to move on into the quarterfinals and with the 2 Cooley kids. So all you spectators online, we'll read out your emails as we can during the breaks, but you got plenty of action coming up here.
That's right, Dino. So this a career heat once again for both these surfers. It is a matchup from the final of the last contest, the Quicksilver Pro France in Hobgood, that went down in smoking right-hand barrels. Joel Parkinson got the best of Mick Fanning in that one. Parko snagged an 8.83 from the beginning of the heat, and Fanning kind of paddled in place for 25 minutes through most of that one. So Fanning will want to get some comeback, a little bit of payback off of Parko in this one. Parko 4th in the world, Fanning 5th. Both of them still have a shot at the world title, but they have to win this heat to still be in the race when the end of the Billabong Pro comes around. And of course, Kelly Slater cannot win, otherwise the race for the title is pretty much over here in Bakio. Those were our 2 surfers still in the water. Damian Hobgood in red out of Florida needing a 6.67. Dean Morrison in yellow already got his 6.67 to go with his 6.83. 1 minute and 45 seconds remaining. This one really coming down to the wire, and a definitive moment in the world title race. Already in the water and about to start in just over 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Well, it looks like we have a paddler opting to paddle over that wave. The current heat leader, Dean Morrison, holding down priority in this heat, I think. And looks like there's a wave out the back. Damian Hobgood paddling. Is he going to go? It looks like Dean Morrison is opting to go. He has priority. Dean Morrison is up and riding. And Damian Hobgood having to paddle out, kick out of that wave as you see Dean Morrison bouncing his way into the shore break here.
It'll be interesting to see if Dingo continues on the inside. Yeah, he's going to connect this right. He's going to try and better his 6.67. Now, that was interesting for everyone who's always asking about priority and what it is. Well, Dean Morrison had priority in the lineup. Damian needed to catch a wave, took off on that one, and Dean didn't want to let him have the score, so he then took off. So it will not be an interference for Damian Hobgood, but he won't be scored on the maneuvers that he did on that wave. That will come up as zeros across the board, and Dean Morrison will have to take whatever the judges have given him on that last one. With 30 seconds remaining, Damian Hobgood now out in the lineup by himself with priority. Looks like a few bumps on the way, but will it be quality enough waves, and will he have enough time to catch one of these last sets? The answer in just under 10 seconds as we come down into the last 10 seconds of this heat before our first quarterfinal matchup between the Cooley kids.
Well, there you go, Dave. The heat is over, and advancing into the quarterfinals is